no doubt. You may be seated. We're just going to give another minute or two for other guests to come. Distinguished guests, friends, family, students, staff, and faculty, good afternoon and welcome to the hooding ceremony for the Duke Doctor of Physical Therapy class of 2021. My name is Todd Cade and it is my privilege to serve as the Division Chief of the Doctor of Physical Therapy Division at Duke University School of Medicine. I'd like to start by wishing all the moms in our audience a happy Mother's Day. Let's give them a hand. And what a beautiful day we have for graduation. I think after this year, we've deserved it, right? So to the friends and family of the class of 2021, both in person and watching online, on behalf of the faculty, we welcome you here today. We welcome parents, spouses, partners, significant others, siblings, grandparents, aunts and uncles, friends, and other loved ones of the graduates. We know that they would not be sitting here today without the love and support that they have received from you. On behalf of the entire faculty, I'd like to offer our congratulations to the DPT class of 2021. You're the 77th graduating class of physical therapists at Duke. It's safe to say that this past year was unusual. Well, better put, this past year has not only been uncomfortable and inconvenient, but painful for many of you. But in the chaos class of 2021, you were our pioneers. You were the first class to enter the post-COVID clinical year and embrace the uncertainty in your training in the midst of the pandemic. You embraced the challenge and wearing PPE, including N95 masks, gowns, and face shields while treating your patients became the norm. Several of you were infected or exposed to the virus, which required quarantine and affected your learning experience. Others had rotations canceled and rescheduled to other locations due to COVID-19. But in the end, you not only persevered, but thrived in this most challenging environment. And by being pioneers, you are part of history. However, I'd like to highlight that you're also part of a different, more positive history. In 1943, Dr. Lennox Baker, a pediatric orthopedic physician, recruited former APTA president and chief physical therapist at Mount Sinai Hospital in Cleveland, Helen Kaiser, to come to Duke to direct clinical services and start an educational program for physical therapists. The Duke Physical Therapist program was the 18th in the nation and the first in the Southeast. Over the past 78 years, the program went from a 9-month certificate to a 33-month clinical doctorate in physical therapy, and from a 9-person class to your graduating class of 78. You are part of 1,912 graduates of the physical therapy program family at Duke. So as you celebrate your accomplishments today, think about how now you are also part of the Duke Physical Therapy legacy. Not many programs have the rich and lasting legacy as Duke does. During this ceremony, you'll be hooded as graduates of Duke University. You've earned the clinical doctoral degree from one of the most celebrated and respected institutions in the world. I know I share this sentiment with the faculty when I say, welcome to this amazing and rewarding profession. Now I'd like to introduce to you what I think is the best Doctor of Physical Therapy faculty in the nation. These faculty have spent countless hours teaching and mentoring, laughing with, and being inspired by the class of 2021. I will not mention all their names that are listed in the program, but I will ask them to please stand and be recognized. I would also like to take a moment to recognize the DPT staff who arranged all the fine details of this afternoon and who have been instrumental to the graduates in their experience while they're at Duke. So please give them a hand. Now, before I introduce the Dean, I'd like to take a moment to remember those we've lost and those who have struggled due to COVID-19 in the past year. So now I would want to introduce the Dean of the School of Medicine, Dr. Mary Klotman. Dr. Klotman is a nationally recognized leader in academic medicine. She became Dean of the Duke University School of Medicine and Vice Chancellor for Health Affairs at Duke University in 2017. She is the R.J. Reynolds Professor of Medicine, Professor of Molecular Genetics and Microbiology, Professor of Pathology, and a member of the Duke Human Vaccine Institute. Dr. Klotman pushes us to move outside our comfort zones, to be ambitious, to keep our eyes towards the future of practice. She's a strong advocate of the physical therapy program and also faculty development and research. So please join me in welcoming Dean Mary Klotman.
Well, thank you, Dr. Cade. I must start by saying how enormous pleasure, how much enormous pleasure I take out of being here with you in person. And we're so lucky to have such a beautiful day that we can do it outside. Good afternoon to all our distinguished faculty, families, friends, and most importantly, to the Duke Doctors of Physical Therapy class of 2021. Congratulations. The challenges, as you've heard this past year, have been enormous. Faced with two historic crises, COVID-19 and the ongoing impact of social injustice. Each of you that has brought deep personal stress and challenges. Both will be a part of your own personal stories for the rest of your lives. Along with the great sacrifices and tribulations, these crises present opportunities to learn and to grow. In the words of Desmond Tutu, Nobel laureate and South African activist and theologian, a time of crisis is not just a time of anxiety and worry, although I think we can say it is, but it gives us a chance, an opportunity to choose well or to choose badly. So I encourage you to ask yourselves, how will these crises influence and define who you are and what you do? During the past year, I've thought often about a young infectious disease doc taking care of patients with new mysterious illness caused by a pathogen not previously known, with little or no validated therapy. As she takes care of frightened and very sick patients, she worries about the risks she might be taking for her own health or for the health of her family and loved ones. But those thoughts are only fleeting, because the needs of patients and the need to find solutions for this devastating disease distracts from personal concerns. That infectious disease doctor was not a 2021 practitioner taking care of COVID patients, but that was me, many years ago, taking care of the first HIV patients at Duke. At the time, that pathogen was unknown, the diagnosis was a death sentence, and there were no therapeutic options. And the rest of the story is well known. The disease caused by the newly identified HIV virus and therapeutic opportunities and options were developed by an army of clinicians and scientists, and now it is not a death sentence, but it is a disease that's treatable and ensures, under most circumstances, a full and healthy life, although there is no vaccine. I tell that story as a part of my own personal narrative that defined my choices in my professional life, inspired me to become a physician scientist. But more importantly, caring for dying HIV patients was the beginning of a much deeper understanding of both the profound responsibilities as well as the personal joy and fulfillment of a profession defined by service to others. So how will the experience this last year inspire you in your practice? The very fact that you're receiving this degree under this extremely challenging set of circumstances tells me a lot about you. You did not give up. You did not put off finishing what you started. You persevered. You did this despite a myriad of personal challenges experienced by you and your families. And you did it following new protocols that were difficult to follow at best. As you know, in the medical profession, we talk about a term, resilience. That's a process of adapting well in face of adversity, trauma, threats, or significant sources of stress. That does not mean it is without personal challenges or personal stress, but you did it. So you have shown resilience, you have shown personal responsibility and commitment to your community. You should feel empowered by your new knowledge. Now you have the opportunity and the responsibility to give back to society as a source of truth, which is so needed today. Do not underestimate how your knowledge and skills can be used to make a positive difference. Last fall, I had the pleasure of speaking to and interviewing Coach K about leading through crisis. We talked about the opportunities in his life created by setbacks, and he identified 4 elements in overcoming challenges and crises. The first, choose to have a positive attitude. Second, believe in yourself and those around you. Third, prepare well, which you have all done, to make an impact. And finally, execute your plans well and don't grow tired. Stay the course. With the knowledge you've acquired during your time at Duke and those 4 elements, you can be bright lights throughout your life. I want to end with something I learned early in my profession. Service to others brings joy and great personal fulfillment. I encourage each of you to explore where your immense talents can best be in service to society. I have no doubts that each of you will make a positive difference in our world, and in the process, you will continue to experience the joy of service to others. I congratulate each one of you in these challenging times, and I join in offering a heartfelt thanks to your families who have supported you along the way. Go forward and make a positive difference in the world. Congratulations to our newest Doctors of Physical Therapy, class of 2021. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dean Klotman. For those of you who may not be familiar, you will note that the faculty and the graduates wear what is called academic regalia. The origins of the regalia date back to the 12th century. You will notice that the regalia worn by the faculty are adorned with distinctive colors indicating doctoral degrees obtained from different universities and represent different academic disciplines. The length of the hood reflects the type of the degree received. For a doctoral degree, the hood is 4 feet. The interior lining, generally satin, displays the colors of the institution from where the wearer received the degree, as well as the degree type. The external velvet panel represents the degree. This afternoon, we'll be hooding the DPT class of 2021 in teal green, the traditional color of the physical therapy doctorate. So I know you can listen to me talk about the details of the hood all day, but I know that you're here because they are our graduates. Consequently, I will now ask Dr. Kyle Covington, Associate Professor and Director of Evaluation and Assessment, to approach the podium and present the names of the graduates. Joining him on the stage will be Assistant Professors Dr. Laura Pietrossimone and Dr. Marcus Roll, as they will be hooding the graduates. Graduates, you will queue up to my left. Once your name is called, you will approach Dr. Pietrossimone and Dr. Roll for the hooding. You will have your photo taken during the hooding. Then you will walk across to me and receive your diploma cover. Continue on and walk down the walkway. Staff will guide you to another professional photographer. Friends and family, you will notice that we do have a professional photographer in front of the stage, and we request that you remain in your seats during the hooding. Dr. Covington, the floor is yours.
Hello, graduates and families and loved ones celebrating. It's an honor to get to be with you and celebrate today. As I call the graduate names and they line up to be hooded and receive their diplomas, I would just like to note that some of our graduates are celebrating with us virtually, and we'll be calling their names as well. So we encourage cheers and applause for all of our graduates, both here present and celebrating with us at a distance on this impressive accomplishment as I call their names. So with that, we'll get started. Our first graduate, celebrating virtually with us in Charleston, South Carolina, Dr. Andrew Martin Bagley. Dr. David Bazarico. Celebrating virtually with us in Palm Beach, Florida, Dr. Caroline Lindsay Bazemore. Dr. Sarah Jane Bellin. Dr. Lance D. Bennett. Dr. Jada Marie Boyd. Dr. Amanda Day Broughton. Celebrating virtually with us at Lake Shannon in Fenton, Michigan, Dr. Jensen Bradley. Dr. Bridget Brennan. Dr. Kenneth John Broker. Dr. Elizabeth Ann Bulliner. Dr. Sabrina Burry. Dr. Brittany Jean Catcher. She's next. Dr. Catherine Buck Chapman. Dr. Mohammed Chehada. Dr. Chow Chi-Loon. Dr. Janae Chen. Dr. Lauren Ashley Cordova. Dr. Rebecca Eady. Dr. Kayla Nicole Faverio. Dr. Daniel Fleming. Dr. Lydia Elaine Frizz. Dr. Joseph Filestra. Dr. Brendan Patrick Gates. Dr. Eleanor Murray George. Dr. Cassidy Nicole Kreshko. Dr. Laura Ann Guy. Dr. Nicholas Anthony Hadgis. Dr. Cannon Lee Hannabeth. Celebrating with us virtually from New York, Dr. Michelle Dawn Hinkie. Dr. Rainey Marie Hauser. Dr. Sean Christian Hunter Siegert. Dr. Nadeem Hussein. Dr. John Samuel Justin. Dr. Melanie Macy Kessler. Dr. Sarah Christine Kiani. Dr. Alexis Marcia Lacewell. Dr. Madison Michael Lash. Dr. Ashley Lee. Celebrating virtually with us in Fremont, Ohio, Dr. Jensen Marie Lejeune. Dr. Michael Lazinski. Dr. Benjamin William Luzar. Dr. Madison H. Massey. Dr. Jesse Lee McLaughlin. Dr. Natalie Ann McNerney. Dr. Michael Holt McPherson. Dr. Carly Alexandra McQuain. Dr. Mustafa Maligi. Dr. Caleb Patrick Meir. Dr. Rachel Naomi Myers. Dr. William Tyler Mullen. Dr. Anthony C. Nash, Jr. Dr. Michaela Mary Elsa Nylander French. Dr. Holly Sage O'Hearn. Dr. Daniela Ortiz. Dr. Tatiana Paz. Dr. Kenna Renee Peters. Celebrating with us virtually in Orange Beach, Alabama, Sarah Jo Peters. That's Dr. Sarah Jo Peters. Dr. Colton Bryce Phelps. Dr. Brett Richard Pylan. Celebrating virtually with us in Jacksonville, Illinois, Dr. Sophie Lorraine Quigg. Dr. Tyler Wade Ray. Dr. Kendall Renee Rosieski. Dr. Timothy Eugene Schulte. Dr. Deja Renee Smallwood. Dr. Kaylee Michelle Smirk. Dr. Meredith Levi Stevenson. Dr. Christine Streisel. Dr. Mary Ellen Targonsky. Dr. Emily Vosberg. Dr. Michael James Walsh. Dr. Yushin Wong. Celebrating virtually with us in Toronto, Dr. Christiana Elizabeth Warth. Dr. Lauren Riley Wheeler. Dr. Hannah Joy White. Dr. Matthew William Wilson. Dr. Emily Ann Whitkey. Dr. Michelle Lei Wong. Dr. Corinne Jean Woodbine. Would all in attendance here in Durham and those celebrating with us around the world please join the faculty in congratulating the Duke Doctor of Physical Therapy class of 2021.
Okay, announcing this year's Student Alumni Awards are Dr. Tiffany Hilton and Dr. Rosie Canizares. Dr. Hilton is an associate professor and the assistant program director and director of curriculum. Dr. Canizares is a faculty member and an alumnus of the Duke of DPT class of 2007 and the coordinator of alumni engagement at Duke DPT. Drs. Hilton and Canizares, please join the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Cade. The first awards that I will present are listed in the program. The graduates have previously received these awards, so I will ask them to stand at their seat to be recognized. May I please request that you hold your applause for all awardees until the end of the awards presentation. The first award honors the Helen Kaiser Scholarship recipients. As Dr. Cade mentioned, Helen Kaiser was the founder and director of the graduate program in physical therapy at Duke. Drs. Brittany Ketcher and Daniel Fleming have demonstrated the commitment, dedication, and passion that Helen Kaiser did so many years ago. The Diversity and Leadership Award is given annually to a student who exhibits an outstanding academic record, a strong leadership foundation, and have exemplified a commitment to diversity and service. Please join me in recognizing Dr. Lydia Frizz. The Duke DPT Student Excellence Scholarship is given to students that have demonstrated academic, scholarly, leadership, advocacy, and/or service excellence during their time in the Duke DPT program. The recipients of this award are Dr. Sabrina Burry, Dr. Mohammed Chehada, Dr. Cannon Hannabeth, Dr. Alexis Lacewell, Dr. Ashley Lee, Dr. Holly O'Hearn, Dr. Tatiana Paz, and Dr. Deja Smallwood. The National Physical Therapy Student Honor Society was established by the American Council of Academic Physical Therapy to recognize DPT students who demonstrate excellence integrity, and professionalism in areas of academic achievement, leadership, service, or research, and demonstrate strong moral character, ethics, and the core values of the PT profession. As I read your name, will you please come to the front to receive your certificate and pin from Dr. Cade. Dr. Sabrina Burry, Dr. Rebecca Eady, Dr. Natalie McNerney, Dr. Holly O'Hearn, and Dr. Tatiana Paz. The purpose of the APTA North Carolina Ben F. Massey Jr. Student Scholarship is to recognize and honor a physical therapy student who is nearing completion of their respective program of study and demonstrates current and future potential to contribute to the physical therapy profession. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Rachel Myers on this prestigious award. Recipients of the APTA North Carolina Outstanding Physical Therapy Student Award demonstrate superior scholastic ability and measurable potential to future contributions to the PT profession and the APTA. This award was given to Dr. Sabrina Burry. Congratulations, Sabrina. The next 3 awards are presented by the Duke DPT program at graduation. I will ask these students to please come forward to receive their plaque from Dr. Cade. The first is the Robert Bartlett Student Recognition Award for Service and Leadership Excellence. It's presented to a student who has demonstrated excellence in service and leadership during their time at Duke. Bob Bartlett is a professor emeritus in our division. He is a former Duke Physical Therapy Program chair, a past president of the American Physical Therapy Association, and a fellow of the American Physical Therapy Association. This year's recipient is Dr. Tatiana Paz. Next, the Jan Guire Student Recognition Award for Academic, Clinical, and Scholarly Excellence is presented to a student who has demonstrated excellence in academic and clinical performance, scholarship, and research during their time at Duke. Jan Guire is a professor emeritus in our division. She is the former vice chief of education and had a notable career of professional service and research contributions. This year's recipient is Dr. Rachel Myers. The Cultural Diversity Award is presented to a student who has demonstrated excellence in promoting cultural diversity in the physical therapy profession, Duke University, the DPT program, and in their community during their time at Duke. This year's recipient is Dr. Alexis Lacewell.
You have already heard of the many important accomplishments of Miss Helen Kaiser. The Duke Physical Therapy Alumni Association established the Helen Kaiser Award to recognize a student who has demonstrated outstanding dedication to the profession of physical therapy and continues to promote involvement as a member of the American Physical Therapy Association. The award recipient is chosen by the Duke Physical Therapy Alumni Association and is a gift of $1,000 for travel expenses to an American Physical Therapy Association meeting with an additional $1,000 gift by the Duke DPT division. This year, Dr. Sabrina Burry has demonstrated this outstanding dedication to the profession of physical therapy. Congratulations, Sabrina, on being the recipient of the 2021 Helen Kaiser Duke Physical Therapy Alumni Association Award.
The final award this evening is the Jan.K. Richardson Excellence in Teaching Award. It was established in 2004 by students, alumni, and her friends and family. Dr. Richardson is a past president and Catherine Worthingham Fellow of the APTA, a former division chief of Duke Physical Therapy, and currently a professor emeritus at Duke University School of Medicine. This award allows students the opportunity to recognize members of the faculty who have demonstrated dedication in the classroom, possess extensive knowledge, and who left an indelible mark in their education. This year's recipient of the Jan.K. Richardson Award is a first-time winner. This individual has a minimum of 3 gallons of chocolate milk in the fridge and eats a bowl of Cocoa Krispies every night. Accomplishments include board certification in orthopedic physical therapy and recognition as a fellow of the American Academy of Manual Physical Therapists. You may be surprised to know that this individual was a collegiate cheerleader in their college mascot. Although a native of Big Sky Country, you may find this person running 50 miles across the state of North Carolina on any given weekend. This assistant professor at Duke University is the lead of Orthopedics Advanced Practice Course Track and CAMP, which stands for Comprehensive Assessment and Management of Practice, within the DPT curriculum. The 2021 Jan.K. Richardson Teaching Award goes to Dr. Derek Cluley. Okay, now we move into the wild card portion of this evening's ceremonies. And I might add a tradition and a favorite. I'd like to invite the DPT class officers, Natalie McNerney, Deja Smallwood, Jesse McLaughlin, and Hannah White, to the stage to address their class and the audience.
Good afternoon. On behalf of your class officers, I just want to say, we did it. This experience has been so much more than any of us could have imagined. On our first day at Duke, winding our cars up the parking garage at Irwin Square, praying we wouldn't get hit by another car coming down, we all double-checked the address. This office building couldn't be right, could it? After walking through the door, we saw Eric Nail's friendly face and found our way to our teams. For better or for worse, these teams of 5 or 6 students would be the core group of colleagues and ultimately friends that we would learn with, grow with, and pass or fail our RAWs and GRAWs, our quizzes with. It all started with the team charter, like this one. Our first attempt at writing guidelines to work as a team and figure out how we would survive the next 2 years together on campus. When classes started, we became pros at figuring out exactly how much time was needed to walk the half mile, or should I say 3/4 of a mile, from Irwin Square to the Gross Anatomy Lab on campus, and prayed the train wouldn't slow us down. Then, when that failed, we were more than willing to pay for parking in the patient garage. Sorry, Joanne. Dr. Dr. Horn and her crew, along with Park Ranger Kirk Johnson, taught us the difference between the humerus and the femur and the importance of being oriented to the body. So when you find that your heart has been placed in your stomach, it's not a phenomenon, but probably your teammate pulling a prank. Although the best prank of all was Dr. Roll convincing us all to ready our examination skills for our special patients, who we all thought would be over the age of 55, when in reality, they were a small troop of preschoolers less than 5 years old. Our interview questions quickly turned from, "Can you describe your pain?" to, "How's your owie doing?" And it was easy to adapt, as Dr. Figures taught us to go with the flow and always stay in the groove. We embraced our creative sides, oddly enough, with Drs. Simon and Cluley. Our acting skills shined as we learned about qualitative studies in research design, and we all got a taste of Oxford debates. Thank you, Team 2. But when it comes to starring on film, I don't think any of us will forget our first and only standardized patient interview, where it was just us, a patient playing it, an actor playing a patient, and a camera. Oh, and your whole team watching it with you in person after the fact. We learned to speak confidently, speak slowly, and to quickly locate the hand sanitizer. All this hard work prepared us for STEPS, our brief clinical rotations during first and second year, and Movement Matters, our pro bono student clinic. In another team, we began figuring out what it meant to be physical therapists. Don't drop your patient. With time and with practice, we perfected our 10-minute MSK exams thanks to Dr. Raymond and the funnel, authored and collaborated on research papers, and slowly turned our business professional attire into Lululemon clothes and Duke gear, which came in very handy when the new building was ready ahead of schedule and our 3/4 miles walked returned from Irwin Square to the new location. We traded in train horns for ambulance sirens, but I don't think anyone would dare complain, especially since we upgraded from changing our clothes 3 times per day in a bathroom stall to our fancy changing rooms in the private student lounge. Through all the ups and downs, we were there for each other. We woke Jerry up from naps during class and Deja up so she wouldn't be late to class. Sean taught us anatomy, and Tyler and Caleb carried us all, always raising their hands to answer the question when no one else would. So thank you. Daniela, our technology assistant, showed us how to use our mics appropriately, so I hope this is going well. And Jay, our facilities manager, was always there to open a closet when you needed him. During those Irwin days, we'd walk laps together on the top deck of the parking garage or run down to Guasaka for a snack. Hey, Team 11, I still think they're taking applications if anybody needs one. While it was mostly hard work, the studying eventually ended, and that's when we all went to Shooters.
Shooters is one of those places you never really plan to go to, but you always somehow end up there, like we all did after that ropes course during the first week of orientation. During all the Welcome Week events, the breweries, the house party, and even bowling, I don't think anyone really grasps how important these friendships we were forming would be. For better or for worse, these would be the people that would carry us through the next 3 years. And while we of course studied hard, and I mean hard, over the last 3 years, we also made sure to celebrate accordingly. Whether it was a football tailgate or wine nights with our professors in the atrium, we made sure to play hard after we worked hard, commemorating each and every academic victory. Our class continued to grow closer after each social event, our friendships extending beyond the classroom to include Halloween parties, game nights, Bible studies, dinners, bachelor watch parties, sporting events, and even late night studying. None of this possible without Lauren Wheeler always putting fun ideas in the group me that we all have muted. She was definitely the glue that held our social lives together. When we wanted to celebrate completing an MSK practical or just honestly making it through the week, we showed our Duke spirit. I think some of my best PT school memories are from Duke basketball games, which is pretty fitting because we know how seriously our class took standing in the front row. Sleeping in wet tents, 2 a.m. wake-up whistles, and living off of 0 hours of sleep during campout was all worth it once we stepped into Cameron Indoor, especially if ESPN was there, and especially if it was Duke versus Carolina. Us PT students had a reputation when it came to Duke basketball. All the other grad students knew that we would be in the front row. It was like an unspoken rule. They also knew that we dominated intramural sports. Soccer, football, softball, the sport didn't matter because we were the best. Then we have our DPT service events. The 5K, where everyone was out to beat 10-year-old Gavin Cluley, and we raised money for Move Together. DPT Olympics, where our competitiveness shine, shooting baskets in wheelchairs and spiking volleyballs on our bottoms. Black and White and GPSC Formal, where we traded our Lululemon and Duke gear for fancy dresses and suits. TROSA, where we felt like real PTs for the first time, treating the underserved that were searching for work. Massage Monday, where we comforted mothers and families after the birth of their babies. And then the Jamaica Stroke Camp, where Dr. Hoder mentored us as we provided pro bono care to patients with neurological impairments. And lastly, we have Match Day, where we thought our fates as future PTs were sealed as we chose our clinical rotations for third year. The theme, holidays, because thanks to Joanne, we all know that there's a holiday for everything. It'll be hard to forget Team 11 dressing up as actual matches or Team 13 dressing up as pies. Even the professors got into the theme, dressing up as Thanksgiving. Too bad we couldn't have food during this ceremony, because today is actually National Coconut Cream Pie Day and National Have a Coke Day. Also, a huge shout out to Rosie for always sharing her Duke spirit and for making sure that all of these events were so well captured. I can't put my finger on 79 other people I would have rather spent the past 3 years with. I'm so grateful to have these friendships and memories that will last a lifetime.
On March 10th, 2020, our lives walking to IPE and standing front row at Duke basketball games came to a halt. As the world was slowly becoming more aware of the potential dangers of COVID-19, we received an email from Dr. Cook stating that our in-person classes were suspended until further notice. Little did we know at that time they would never resume. Yet, within 24 hours, we were back in MSK and pediatrics classes, now watching in our own homes and now watching through a little Zoom screen. I know a few classmates were excited to get out of practicing on each other's feet, and we have Dr. Cluley's children to thank for being somewhat willing volunteers instead. All of our professors did an amazing job quickly converting their classes, including all of our summer semester elective courses, to online formats. We learned the ins and outs of Zoom, including the importance of the mute button and the endless creativity available with Zoom backgrounds. We learned to be patient and flexible as we heard news of our clinical rotations being delayed, canceled, and changed. Dr. Myers and Dr. Poole did an incredible job working tirelessly coordinating clinical replacement sites, navigating time lost due to COVID, and keeping 78 anxious students reassured in their future. And now here we are, graduating on time and all together. After months of hard work, we were able to present our final capstone research projects to our professors and families, and many of us are now published authors. Although we may not have had the typical ceremonious physical coding at the end of our didactic coursework, we can claim to be the first class with a virtual white coat ceremony in Duke physical therapy history. Despite our goodbyes and good lucks taking place while we were spread across the country, the support of each other and our professors endured. Then the time came for us to leave our team-based comfort zone and branch out individually as student clinicians, hearing Dr. Covington's and Dr. Seuss's words echo in our minds, "Oh, the places you'll go." With the knowledge obtained from our first 2 years of schooling, we threw ourselves into clinical environments, armored with masks, goggles, face shields, and a lot of hand sanitizer. We entered diverse settings such as ICU and rehab units in hospitals, outpatient and high-level sports clinics, burn units, prisons, just to name a few, determined to become the best clinicians we could. We had the privilege of traveling across the country to learn at a time when the world was not given that same freedom. As our terminal clinical experiences progressed, we learned how to mesh our didactic knowledge with what we saw in clinic. We confronted our strengths and our weaknesses, and ultimately, we found our own voices as professionals. We learned how to communicate with our patients and create and promote change in their lives. But we also realized that although our time as students is over, we will always be lifelong learners. Now our paths all converge once again to reconnect and celebrate, sharing stories from the past 9 months and reminiscing on the last 3 years. Now our final words are from Natalie, our class president. Just so everyone is aware, her voice is a little hoarse, but take it away, Natalie.
I was just so excited to see everyone. I was talking a lot the past 3 days. I apologize. So it seems like just yesterday that we were at Irwin, meeting our TBL teams and beginning our journey of becoming a physical therapist. We sat next to strangers who became our best friends. We'd made memories that will last a lifetime, and we learned from the best professors that are now our colleagues. We started as intimidated first years who couldn't remember origins and insertions, to second years who learned how to think critically and systematically, to third years who thrived on clinical rotations despite the challenges of COVID. And now look at us. We are graduating with a Doctor of Physical Therapy from Duke University. Take a minute and let that sit in. Our class experienced many hardships over these last 3 years, but we also experienced many triumphs. We adapted to the constantly changing environments, demonstrated resilience, and overcame many adversities. In the wake of social injustices plaguing our country and affecting so many of our classmates, we began to have deep and meaningful conversations that should have occurred years ago. We acknowledged our implicit biases and made a commitment to promote and advocate for change in our community at Duke and at home. All of these experiences have helped shape us into better clinicians that will provide respectful, culturally sensitive, and exceptional care to our patients, no matter race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender, or socioeconomic status. As we begin the next step of our journey of starting jobs or residencies, remember why you chose to become a physical therapist. For all of us, this reason may be different, but we all share the same passion of wanting to help others heal. We have the skills and knowledge to provide the best care, but physical therapy is so much more than helping someone heal on the physical domain. In the words of Maya Angelou, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Treat every patient with care, compassion, and empathy. Be the reason that someone smiles, and always be the person that your patient needs that day. Throughout our career, we are going to face challenges. We are going to be faced with ethical dilemmas. We're going to have difficult patients, and we're going to have failures. But remember, Duke has given us the foundation to overcome these obstacles, make the right decisions, and continue to learn, grow, and work to become a leader in the field of physical therapy. Thank you to all of the faculty and staff for shaping us into the clinicians that we are today and serving as our mentors and our colleagues. Thank you to Dr. Cade, Dr. Hilton, Dr. Cook, Dr. Covington, Dr. Clendaniel, and Dr. Figures for leading a program of respect, excellence, and integrity. We have accomplished our dream and have so much to be proud of. Thank you to all of my classmates and to Duke DPT for an amazing and memorable 3 years. Class of 2021, we made it and have so much to celebrate. Now, one last time for all of us.
So I'm new, so I have not been to a Duke basketball game yet, so I've not experienced that yet. So I need to work on my dancing. So thank you, class officers, for your years of service. We're really thankful for you. So in closing, we are so proud of our graduates and what they have accomplished, especially in the face of a global pandemic. COVID-19 has not only made it more difficult to complete your physical therapy training, and rehabilitation, but your patients need you more than ever. Evidence suggests that not only physical inactivity is associated with more severe COVID disease, but many patients who suffer COVID-19 are debilitated, suffer long-lasting fatigue, have a higher risk for worsening metabolic and cardiovascular disease. So your patients need you, and now you've been well trained to help them. Whatever your next steps, I invite you to see your studies at Duke as part of a lifetime learning, as Natalie said. I encourage you to stay connected to everyone here today, especially your faculty. We continue to be your biggest advocates long after today. You'll be forever part of the Duke family. I speak for the entire faculty when I say that we appreciate having the opportunity to share time learning with you. And from this point forward, we will no longer think of you as Duke students, but as colleagues and as friends. From the bottom of our hearts, we celebrate you. This concludes the hooding ceremony. The graduates will process out of this space and go directly to the IPE building for their gift. We ask you to remain seated until the graduates leave the area. So well done, parents, loved ones, and friends. Well done, faculty and staff. And well done, class of 2021.